My eyes open. Cool. Well, thanks guys for joining us. Joining me. This is what we're doing, chapters 10 through 12. And I think we only have 3 more times. If I looked at everything correctly, we have 3 more chapters for the next 3 weeks. And then we've been through the whole book, which is just crazy. So let's get this party started. I picked out a devotion. And this one is called Putting Faith Above Feelings. And the verse is from Hebrews chapter 10, verse 38. It says, "Now the just shall live by faith." Who is in charge of your emotions? Is it you, or have you formed the unfortunate habit of letting other people or troubling situations determine the quality of your thoughts and the direction of your day? If you're wise, and if you'd like to build a better life for yourself and your loved ones, you'll learn to control your emotions before your emotions control you. Human emotions are highly variable, decidedly unpredictable, and often unreliable. Our emotions are like the weather, only far more fickle. So we must learn to live by faith, not by the ups and downs of our own emotional roller coasters. Sometime during this day, you will probably be gripped by a strong negative feeling. Distrust it, rein it in, test it, and turn it over to God. Your emotions will inevitably change. God will not. So trust Him completely as you watch those negative feelings slowly evaporate into thin air, which of course they will. There's a couple verses that came with that's talking about how you shouldn't trust your emotions from day to day. One is from Proverbs. We know Proverbs is the wisdom chapter of the Bible, or the book of the Bible, chapter 14 through 29, or verse 29. A patient person shows great understanding, but a quick-tempered one promotes foolishness. James chapter 1, verses 19 through 21, or 19 through 20 says, "Everyone must be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger, for man's anger does not accomplish God's righteousness." I'll choose one more. How about this one? Ephesians chapter 4, verses 31 to 32. "All bitterness, anger, and wrath, insult, and slander must be removed from you, along with all wickedness. And be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving one another, just as God also forgave you in Christ." So I love that, because sometimes, even with the season of your business or the ups and downs of a person coming at you because of something that didn't go right, with whatever in life, whether it was a loyal customer or a distributor on your team, remember that we are not supposed to ever make decisions in emotional, crazy times. You're always supposed to do decisions, making big decisions, or, deciding how you're going to feel, by praying and asking God for guidance and patience through certain situations. So I thought that was so good, because truly our emotions are like, right, all day long. Good one day, next second it's like, so just remember to really live your life by faith. And so I even think about that in my business, even if there's ups and downs, or seasons of really great, seasons of really quiet, seasons of people, going to other teams or whatever, that's not meant, that doesn't mean that I'm supposed to just emotionally say, I'm done with this, or go here or go there, but rather live by faith and know why I came to this business and why God drew me here. So anybody have anything stirring them from that particular devotion this morning? And this one was God's Guide to Food, Fitness, and Faith for Women. And I found this at Sam's Club. It is so good. I mean, that's what we're in. We're in health and wellness industry too, so it's really, really good. Anybody have anything to say to that, or should we dive right into the chapters of our 21 indispensable qualities of a leader?
I was just going to say, sorry, Tessie.
No, go ahead.
I agree with that about the emotions. Decision based on my emotions, then it all goes wrong. It just keeps snowballing and getting worse and worse and worse, and not better. So yeah, I really like that this morning.
Awesome. I love that stuff. Were you going to say something, Tessie?
No, not really.
Okay. I love that. It's very, very true. And it's you can keep building off of one negative emotion. You're exactly right. All of a sudden you can start saying your whole life is falling apart when it was just one thing. that really, when you sit back, you go, it's not that bad. Like, it's really not that bad, you know? All right, so let's dive in. All right, so chapter 10. Oh, man, I love these 3 chapters. I don't know about you guys. Tessie and I had a great time last week chatting together on chapters, 7, 8, and 9. And let's think. 7 was about discernment. You know, smart leaders only believe half of what they hear. Discerning leaders know which half to believe. So we learned about that in chapter 7. 8, we learned about focus. The sharper your focus is, the sharper you are. What people say, what people do, and what they say they do are entirely different things. So we really dove into that chapter. Remember that, Tessie, about focus. And then chapter 9 was generosity. So that was where no person was ever honored for what he received. Honor has been the reward for what he gave. Giving is the highest level of living. That was an awesome chapter. So I love those too. Good morning, Becky. Wow, she's looking gorgeous.
Hi. Well, we have dance, and then right after dance, we have my new distributor's launch party, and then I have a vendor event right after that.
Wow.
Braylee wants to say hi. Hi.
Hey, are you feeling better, Braylee?
Are you feeling better?
Did she say yes? Sorry, it froze.
Yeah.
You know, our daily tradition of freezing. Good. Awesome. Okay, let's just dive right in then. Okay, so here we go. Chapter 10, initiative. Success seems to be connected with action. Did you hear that? Success seems to be connected with action. Successful people keep moving. They make mistakes, but they don't quit. Of all the things a leader should fear, complacency should head the list. Oh man, what does it mean to be complacent? Right? Sit there, do nothing, right? So isn't that good? That's the thing that all things a leader should fear is complacency. All right, so then we drove right into a guy named Kemmons Wilson and how he was an initiator. So they always start with kind of a story. And he started working when he was 7 years old and blah, blah, blah. And then he talked about all the different things that he did. And then what was this one about? Oh, this was the hotel. This was the guy who said, so he'd done a lot of things in his life, but nothing so impactful as this last thing that he did was when he'd go to hotels and they would charge too much and the hotels were iffy whether they were good or they weren't. So he's like, what if, because it drove him nuts, I could go home and I could, just figure out how to make a chain of hotels that everybody knew they could rely on. And the funny thing is, it right away triggered to me Quick Trip, like the concept of Quick Trip gas station. So we know that every Quick Trip you ever go to is going to have like awesome bathrooms. Does anybody know that? Like any Quick Trip you ever go to is going to be clean bathrooms. So whenever we're traveling, we look for a Quick Trip because you have great clean bathrooms. You're going to have a really great convenience section too. They offer a lot of different foods that if you need to grab something for lunch or whatever on the drive, there's plenty of stuff there. So that really triggered that in my mind, like, oh my goodness. So he started the chain Holiday Inn. That is now, like, everybody knows Holiday Inns, and everybody knows if you check into a Holiday Inn, it's going to be a great hotel. It's going to have a pool. It's going to have nice hotel rooms. It's going to just have overall really great service. So he started that because it irked him when he would stop at a hotel, whether or not things were going to be great or not there at the hotel. Do you guys remember that? Okay, so then anybody have anything to say about that before we go into the fleshing it out, page 69? No, you guys are so good. I love it. Okay, so fleshing it out. So then it talks about leaders are responsible for initiating a connection with their followers. But that's not the only area where leaders must show initiative. They must always look for opportunities and be ready to take action. So what qualities do leaders possess that enable them to make that happen? I see at least 4. They know what they want. So then I thought of, okay, my business. Okay, do I know what I want? Do I know where I'm going in my business? That's the number one thing, right? The humorous pianist Oscar Levant once joked, once I make up my mind, I'm full of indecision. Unfortunately, that's the way many people actually operate. But no one can be both indecisive and effective. And I can be indecisive. I can be very indecisive. So I'm like, that's totally speaking to me. As Napoleon Hill says, and I have the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, the starting point of all achievement is desire. If you are going to be an effective leader, you've got to know what you want. That's the only way you'll recognize opportunity when it comes. So if you have no idea what you want, you won't see the opportunity around you. You guys just stop me if there's something that you want to say in between here. Number 2, page 70, the second thing you need is they push themselves to act. You can if you will. Initiators don't wait for other people to motivate them. They know, or they knew it was their responsibility to push themselves beyond their comfort zone. Don't you love this? It's like It Works teaches us all this stuff. Like if you want something, you've got to push your own self. You've got to be daily disciplined, and you've got to get out there and get out of your comfort zone. So many of us think, oh, I can just achieve what I want. Right?
I wanted to say.
Yeah, go ahead.
When I read that part, it was so funny because I just read it last night because